Every empire leaves a record. Some records were never meant to be found. This is file No. 003, and this file is not about a lost city. It is about a message, thousands of copies of it, that has survived, perfectly legible, for 4,000 years. Every sign is sharp, every symbol is clear, and no one alive can read it. We have cracked far older silences. We read the accounts of Sumerian grain-keepers. We read the boasts of pharaohs. We have broken wartime ciphers built by machines to be unbreakable. But this one, a script from the Bronze Age, carved on little stone seals, has defeated every scholar, every linguist, and every computer thrown at it for over 100 years. The official account keeps promising a breakthrough is close. It has been close since the 1920s. So the real question isn't what does it say? It's colder than that. Why can't we read it? And what would it take? Let's establish the evidence. When the cities of the Indus Valley were unearthed, they gave up thousands of small objects, square soapstone seals, tokens, tablets, bits of pottery, inscribed with a script of neat, intricate signs, very often paired with a beautifully carved animal like a unicorn-like bull. By most counts, there are roughly 400 to 450 distinct signs. That number matters, and we'll come back to it. We have thousands of these inscribed pieces. We can hold them. We can photograph every stroke. In terms of raw access, this is one of the best preserved writing systems of the ancient world. And that is exactly what makes its silence so strange. This is not a case of a lost library. The library is right here. We simply cannot open the words. To understand why it resists, look at a code we did crack. Egyptian hieroglyphs were silent for over 1,000 years. Then, in 1799, soldiers turned up a slab in Egypt, carrying the same royal decree in 3 scripts: hieroglyphic, a cursive Egyptian, and ancient Greek, the Rosetta Stone. Because scholars could read the Greek, they suddenly had the same message in a language they knew, sitting beside the one they didn't. In 1822, Jean-François Champollion used that bridge to break the system open. That is the anatomy of a solved script. You need a foothold, some point where the unknown touches the known. A bilingual text, or a related living language, or long passages with enough repetition to attack statistically. Egyptian had a bilingual. Linear B, the Mycenaean script, had a known underlying language, Greek, waiting underneath. Now hold the Indus script against that template, and watch every foothold disappear. Start with length. A Rosetta decree is a paragraph. The Indus inscriptions are almost unbelievably short. On average, only about 5 signs long. The longest single inscription anyone has found runs to only around 17 signs on one surface. There are no long texts, no decrees, no letters, no chronicles, or if there were, they were written on cloth, palm leaf, or wood, and have simply not survived the climate. Think about what that starves you of. Decipherment lives on repetition and context, the same word appearing in different sentences until its meaning is cornered. 5 signs give you almost nothing to triangulate. It is like being handed 10,000 fortune cookie slips in an unknown language and being told, reconstruct the grammar. The corpus is huge, and each piece is a whisper. Foothold 2, a bilingual. There isn't one. In a century of excavation, no Rosetta Stone of the Indus has ever surfaced. No inscription pairing these signs with a script we can already read. Without that bridge, there is no direct point of entry. Foothold 3, the underlying language. With Linear B, Michael Ventris could test his guesses because Greek was underneath, and Greek is known. But we do not know what language the Indus people spoke. The leading hypothesis, argued for decades by the Finnish scholar Asko Parpola, is that it encodes an early form of Dravidian, the language family that today survives mainly in southern India. His method leans on the rebus principle. A sign of a fish might stand not for a fish, but for a word that sounds like it. In Dravidian, the word for fish, man, also means star. It is elegant, it is plausible, but without a bilingual or a long text, a plausible reading cannot be proven. And other scholars propose entirely different language families. You are trying to unlock a door when you do not even know which language the key is cut for. And then, in 2004, 3 researchers detonated the whole project. Steve Farmer, Richard Sproat, and Michael Witzel published a paper with a title that was itself a provocation. The Collapse of the Indus Script Thesis, the Myth of a Literate Harappan Civilization. Their claim was radical. Maybe the reason no one can read the Indus script is that it isn't writing at all. Their argument rested on how the signs behave. Real writing systems, they said, have telltale statistics, signs that repeat within a text, patterns of frequency you'd expect from spoken language. The Indus inscriptions, they argued, are too short, have too many signs that appear only once, and show no sign of a scribe ever correcting a text. What if these symbols were like heraldic emblems, religious icons, or property marks, meaningful but not encoding sentences of speech? If they were right, then every attempt to read the Indus script had been trying to translate a message that was never a language in the first place. That thesis demanded a reply, and it came from computers. In 2009, a team led by Rajesh Rao ran a statistical test on the sequences, measuring their conditional entropy, essentially how predictable each sign is given the one before it. They reported that the Indus signs sat in the same statistical band as known written languages, and apart from clearly non-linguistic systems. Headlines announced that computers had shown the Indus script was a language, but read the fine print, as the Archivist always does. Sproat and others fired back hard, arguing the entropy test was too blunt to prove anything. Many non-linguistic sign systems can produce similar numbers, and the comparison sets were poorly chosen. The machines had measured the structure of the sequences. They had not read a single sign, and that is the revelation this file has been circling. Every tool we own, bilingual method, comparative linguistics, statistics, and now machine learning, needs the same thing to read a script: an external anchor, a point where the unknown code touches something already known. The Indus script offers no anchor, no bilingual to bridge it, no confirmed language beneath it, inscriptions too short to attack by pure repetition, and an unresolved doubt about whether it even encodes speech. Modern AI makes this painfully clear. Feed it every inscription and it will learn which signs tend to follow which. It can model the grammar of the pattern astonishingly well. But meaning is not in the pattern. Meaning is in the connection between the pattern and a world, a language, a reader, and that connection is exactly what 4,000 years erased. A machine can tell you these symbols are ordered like a language. It cannot tell you what the order says because it has nothing to check its answer against. There is no back of the book. This is the difference between cracking a cipher and reading a lost language. A wartime cipher hides a message written in a language you know. Break the system, and the message is in your hands. The Indus script is the opposite. The system may be simple, but the language it carries is gone. You are not fighting the code. You are fighting the silence behind it, which is why you should be very careful with anyone who tells you it's been solved. The record is littered with confident decipherments, dozens of them over the decades. Some are the honest work of serious scholars. Others are driven by the wish to prove the script says a particular thing, to tie it to a specific later language or a national origin story. Almost all of them work the same way. The author assigns sound values by intuition, produces a reading that pleases them, and cannot predict a single new inscription they hadn't already seen. That last part is the test the honest ones fail quietly and the loud ones ignore. A real decipherment predicts. It reads a new text correctly. None of the Indus claims has ever passed that bar in a way the field accepts. So the official account, a breakthrough is close, has been true and false for 100 years at once. Close in effort, nowhere in proof. Step back and sit with what this actually is. We are the most information-rich civilization that has ever existed. We have mapped the human genome and the surface of Mars. We have machines that write and translate between living languages in seconds. And we are standing in front of a few hundred simple signs, carved by people who planned cities and standardized their weights, and we cannot read them, not because we lack the cleverness, but because the one thing decipherment requires, a bridge to the known, does not exist and may never be found. There is a strange humility in that. A record can survive perfectly and still be sealed forever, not by a lock, but by the disappearance of everyone who could read it. The Indus script is not a puzzle waiting for a smarter person. It is a reminder that some doors do not open from our side. The message is intact, the reader is extinct, and unless the ground gives up a bilingual it has hidden for 4,000 years, the signs will keep their meaning exactly where they've kept it since the Bronze Age, just out of reach. The record remains. Draw your own conclusions. This was File No. 003. The archive stays open. The Indus script hides its meaning because its language is lost. But there is another text in the archive that is stranger still. One written in a language no one has ever identified, in a book that may be an elaborate hoax or the last secret of a dead mind. That opens our next file in Decoded. Subscribe, and the archive will call you when it's ready.